Healing crystals, skincare routines, knitting a sweater, fitting in jeans. With Katie and Sarah, no need to worry, you're on a lady journey.
Oh my God, lady journey.
I don't even know what we're talking about on this one.
This is our postpartum.
Postpartum.
Which I'm so
all about
excited.
me.
All about you. And then I really have just been on a journey of trying to get a prescription for antidepressants. And
Yes, that is a journey.
I haven't gotten
The medical
one yet.
system.
Yeah, it's so hilarious. Like I've been in therapy. My therapist had said, maybe just try. Just try. I said, you know what? I think I'm ready. I did have a prescription for Zoloft, I told you. But of course, as everyone knows, this was at the time that I lived in the attic.
Yeah.
I was afraid.
So
I didn't
we
have
didn't
the
know
emotional
it was
support.
depression
Yeah.
or just nature, surroundings.
It could have been, It could have been that I had to take a ladder to get to my home. But I never took it at the time. And so I decided might as well try because I'm having I'm having maybe some PMDD symptoms. I'm feeling tired.
Yeah.
And I made an appointment with who used to be my doctor. And then the day before my appointment, they called me to let me know that they no longer take my insurance.
Of course.
So I was like, okay. So then I made another appointment with a different new primary care to just go in and be like, hey, I'm just looking for a very run-of-the-mill light Prozac. Light Prozac, light on the pros.
Nothing crazy. Nothing that will make you feel weird for writing me a prescription
right.
about.
I'm not looking for mood stabilizers. I'm not looking for Elazapram or whatever they call Xanax. I'm not asking for hard drugs. I'm not asking for a ketamine infusion.
I just want something to make me feel slight above the plateau.
Yeah, I'm just looking to break out of the brain fog. And so I go in and the lady was like, ugh, well, I mean, today's my last day. So I was like, so why
did you even take this phone call?
Why would you take a new client then? Why would you? She'd be like, oh, they just keep giving them to me. I was like, okay. And that's when I knew I needed to be on antidepressants because that's when I started having a breakdown in the doctor's office. I was like, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. It's just more tunnel.
It is more. In the medical system, it's more tunnels.
It's more tunnels. It's tunnels and tunnels. So now I'm on I have a 3-part backup plan. I'm trying one of 3 things. Hopefully, I would really like to get on some antidepressants in the new year. At some point in 2024. And
You're
when
I'm just looking at the sun right now.
Yes, the sun's rays are my prescription. It's so funny because, I was telling my therapist, because for a long time I struggled against getting on antidepressants. I'm like, I don't want to do that. All I need to do is work out 30 minutes a day, stare into the sun, have a smoothie, have 85 grams of protein before my first meal.
Yes.
And
she's like, just fucking
just
bitch, save yourself some time and get on the Prozac.
It's a cheat code. It's a cheat code that I want to take.
Yeah.
I want to take it very badly. And now there's a lot of hurdles, but when I do get on it, I think it's going to be really fun. It's going to be a wild ride.
I can't wait.
Side effects.
2024.
Oh my God. What if it's a new me and I come in and I just have bleach blonde hair?
Yes.
Platinum.
Well, that's where antidepressants always bum me out because I do expect them to change my personality. And it won't.
Yeah.
It won't do anything.
Yeah, you're like, I just feel slightly better.
I feel better about my procrastination, but yet I have not reached success yet.
Yes. I know that is one thing that my therapist was cautioning me against. She said, it's still going to be the same.
Yes.
The parameters will still be the same. You just slightly take the edge off. So
I want something that will change my personality.
I know. I think that's
Is that
meth.
head trauma?
I think that's meth. Yeah. I want to be on meth. Can I get a prescription for that?
Yeah, but then you end up working on projects that don't matter.
Your whole home is dirty, but you're creating a mosaic.
Yeah, I've made a mural on my wall of eyeballs.
Meanwhile, my kids are feral. Oh, but welcome to Lady Journey, everybody. Welcome. I'll have some more for you on that soon.
Yes, join our Patreon.
Please join our Patreon. We love all of the amazing members that are on there. And I have to say, the Patreon in the past year, in 2023, it's been so helpful for us. You guys contributed to...
I love the comments.
The glow up.
Whoever posted about some of the cheat codes for Poshmark about dealing with the U.S. Post Service. I'm going to share those tidbits.
Yes,
and give them credit.
That was so fun and so
Emailed
enjoyable.
us, and I really thoroughly enjoy that because I've been enjoying Poshmark. It's really like a clothing swap for me.
Poshmark is fun. I gotta get on there.
I find something that I like and then that I want, and then I go through my closet and see what I can get rid of that I don't care anymore. And if I can sell that, then I go get what I want.
It's fun. It's like, ooh, look at me. It's like the leggings of 2024.
Yes.
And I'm still offering, if you go to our Apple Music or Apple Podcast and leave us a review, send us an email at ladyjourneypodcast@email.com. Say, hey, I sent a review. Here's a screenshot. Here's my address. I will send you a kit. I've been sending kits out. They've got fun stuff. I won't
People
reveal.
actually want the kits. It's really funny. We'll get an
so
email
fun.
that's like, hey,
where's my kit? I'm like, I swear to God, I'm working on it. I have it on my desk. I will send it at any time. But the kit is so fun because I've now amassed a ton of stuff. I give out stuff that's very Lady Journey. Okay. It's like, and I'm not gonna say what it is. But if you listen to this podcast, then
it's stuff we're trying to get rid of in our house.
It's things from my past. It's evidence. You're like, why did I get a knife? Why did I get a bloody knife?
Yeah, it's an out of style Forever 21 shirt.
Yeah, enjoy. It's very, what's it, nubbing? When it's got like the cotton nubs on it. Yeah. It needs to be shaved.
It's got texture.
But I am sending, I guarantee if you do a review and you email us and you get the package, when you open it up, it'll be like, oh my God, it's as though Lady Journey has come into your home, into your life.
What's better?
In 5D.
Putting it together a little kit is so much fun.
I love it. I love doing these kits.
I saw one the other day. People are making burr kits, meaning like a blanket, cozy slippers.
Ooh,
and then somebody was
burr.
like, you don't need this. This is just consumerism. I'm like, oh, you're right. You're right. Back to the drawing board again.
Right,
I see what you're doing. That's you're
like,
absolutely.
oh yeah, I already have 14 pairs of slippers, but I want my burr kit.
But I want it together bundled with other shit that I don't need.
In a bindle.
Yes.
Why not? And thank you to those who have joined our Patreon. I'm going to give some stone dedications because we have had some amazing people that have joined recently. Number one is Holly. Holly, this is the lapis lazuli stone. Thank you so much for joining. Now, I don't usually put stuff like this in the stone descriptions because I try to boil down what I find on the internet to actionable items, but I couldn't help myself because apparently lapis lazuli is meant to ward off psychic attacks. I said, Holly needs to know about this because,
Be careful out there, Holly.
Be careful. Someone is trying to attack you. No,
with their
I just love the person that's like, I think I'm a victim of a psychic attack. Like, I think someone's trying to attack me. You're like, what happened? They're like, no, psychically.
They're their eyes.
Jan's been thinking about me. But if that's your case, Holly, you need this. You need the stone. You need it in your life.
You need it big time.
But here are some actual other actionable items. This lapis lazuli does help you connect to clarity, which I desperately need.
More reasonable.
Yeah, and also wisdom. So I like that. A little, sometimes.
And psychic attacks.
And you're like, I need to, I'm going to have a week, a January, like, I don't like to do sober January. I think it's a bit extreme, but maybe a week.
This is what I think about sober January. You're an alcoholic.
You have a problem. You have a problem. You have a problem. You have a binge drinking problem. No, if you can do sober January without having a bad February, then you're fine. But I like to do like a 2 weeks sober. I mean, I kind of do that just like on my own. I'll be like, cut back on the alcohol for a couple of weeks, cut back on the edibles, and the clarity that comes from that. I'm like, oh my gosh, you feel better. You really do.
And
You
then
really do.
Right back out there.
Yeah,
again.
and then you're like, I have these
cloud
edibles.
that up again.
Cloud it right up. I have these edibles now that have reishi in them, like the mushroom. So now I'm like, gotta take my vitamin. Gotta take my vitamin that makes me pretty sleepy. And also now we've never had this experience before, but we did have someone join the Patreon on behalf of a friend.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is a shout
That's
out.
passive aggressive.
Their friend actually hates this podcast.
I've made you listen to
Yeah.
two ladies talking in a basement.
Two white women gabbing away. Now, this is for Sarah. So, Sarah, thank you so much for listening. And I want you to know that this is from your friend. This is from your friend. And that's why I've actually chosen this piece of jade given to me by my friend, Terry, from her trip to South Korea. She went to study abroad in South Korea, and she brought this back for me. And jade actually is a stone of friendship. So that's why. And also, usually we say that jade is a dreaming stone, but also some of its other cool properties are that it increases fortune. So Sarah, get out there and start that small business.
Yeah.
Get your Poshmark going. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining the Patreon. And thank you for listening. Thank you for making Lady Journey
Your number one radio station.
Yeah, the number 428 lifestyle podcast in the world.
Out of how many?
Many thousands, I'm sure. Every now and then we do get some kind of like listing. I think they're just they're like kind of catfishing us to like get us to subscribe to see our ranking. And it'll be like number 42 in Sweden. And you're like, Greta?
Whoa.
Greta, is that you?
No, I follow some of these marketing campaigns and emails I fall for. Like, we're so impressed with your content.
Oh, yes.
And I'm like, finally, I've been seen, and they're like, your SEO numbers are down. I'm like, God damn it.
All you need to do is buy our seminar. You're like,
fuck.
Just $1,000.
I thought you saw my true genius.
Yeah. And that's all we really want. I always said that you can tell your deepest insecurity by what you find in your spam folder. You know, like look at my spam. It's like, you've been chosen. I'm like, finally. It's just kickball teams all over again. Last picked, of course. Now, I'm really excited about our topic today because we're continuing on with our focus on you have taken the ultimate lady journey.
We did the birth journey, and now we're in the postpartum, and I'm in the thick of it. And I have to say, I think I do have postpartum depression.
Really? Yeah.
But it's some days are good and some days are bad. And I find the days that I don't get to leave the apartment are the worst.
Yes. Yeah.
Where you're like, all I've done is just put my baby in 3 different seats to see if he likes that. And he doesn't. And it's the blood curdling screams. And I can't even, there's some days where I'm like, I can't even get to my social media postings that I'm supposed to do. And it should be the easiest thing.
Yeah.
But you're like, I can't. And so I can't wrap my mind that raising a baby is a job.
Yes. It feels kind of like, I'm just like around the house
doing
doing
lazy
nothing.
piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is. It's such a thing.
It's work, and we talked about that on the last episode or before 310. It's the stuff like Bill Burr.
Yes. We're talking about like
the jokes, and it's funny. They're funny, but now I'm like, this is the hardest thing. But yesterday I felt like after I had a really bad day on Sunday, Monday I hit it's very bipolar.
Yes.
So
there's highs and lows.
I was like, if I can do a day like this where I got to do a little bit of my life beforehand, and then Joe and our friend Erica went and had a nice New York day because I wanted her to be able to go do what she wanted to also do.
Yes.
And then I got to stay at home and be a mom.
Yeah.
Then it was quite nice, I had to put him in several seats to find out what was his favorite one.
I love it. It's so hilarious. You're like, we were doing musical chairs all night. He really had me at it. He's your boss now. It's like you're working for Michael Scott almost.
It's also, and you feel like you figured it out of calming him down, and it's the most random things. Like, I found that sometimes if I have him on my body and I'm doing this as a chair that's vibrating, I can make him submissive. But I'm just doing like pop and locks on my couch the whole time. And you're like, I didn't how did I find this combo? So it's a lot of that.
You're digging deep. You're really digging deep. I think this is actually making you a more creative person because you're like, everything's been taken from you.
Of going into the darkest caves of problem solving, or like figuring out sounds to put next to his head.
Yeah. But you know,
one's like, maybe if I vacuum near his head.
just anything.
So it's like he's an algorithm that I'm trying to figure out.
Yes.
And as soon as you think you figured it out, then some developer in the sky has changed him up a bit, and
grown.
he regresses, and
Yeah.
it's just a bunch of that. So you don't know if you're like, is he colicky or do I stuff him with more formula? And
Yeah.
I'm now in the stage of like, when you're like, I love my baby, but why do I want him kind of like he's dead for 23 hours out of the day?
I love him when he's sleeping.
Yeah.
Now, it does feel in a way like, we were talking about like Bill Burr saying like stay-at-home mom is, the easiest job. But it's like, well, we also say that being in prison is hard. And that's kind of what it is in a way. It's like you're in prison. I mean, minus obviously the sexual violence that's perpetuated on you. And of course, we are speaking of the men's prison. But solitary confinement, that's a whole thing. That's a whole thing, solitary confinement. It's like, you're have stuff.
Isolated.
I think this analogy doesn't hold water. But I'm like, it's as though you're on death row.
It is a solitary confinement because there's some days where I'm like, Joe's away, I've been on the road, and I have no one to talk to, nor can I actually make a phone call. I left a message the other day that sounded like I was locked in a trunk and I cannot wake my kidnappers up. I'm like, he's asleep right now. I have 10 minutes I can talk. If you get this anytime soon, just call me, but don't call me past this number. Like it was just, you just had to be silent tones. And then, so it's a lot of that. And then in the first few, your C-section scar is healing and you look at your body and you feel like it's atrocious.
Right. So you were saying the trunk legs. I've never heard this before.
So I had a major swelling, and this is something that I feel like, pregnant women get like Men in Blacked after they have
just erased.
Just like whatever you went through, you will not remember, and you will never share it with another woman ever again.
I wouldn't be surprised if that actually happens because they're like, we can't have this on the review with the hospital.
No one, the human race would die.
Yeah.
I had swelling where it made me look like just my one leg was just both legs were just tubes with lots of cotton stuffed into it. It was just, you couldn't see any bone structure in the leg, but just one solid mass all the way down to foot, where it was like Cabbage Patch doll feet, where the toes are also swollen. And that lasted a good week or so. You also get, I had to lay a towel in my bed because you get horrific night sweats with the hormone.
The hormones shifting.
The shifting. So I still get it where I'm just drenched all the time. And
night sweats are the worst.
It's weird, but you feel like you've been working really hard in your sleep.
Did I just run a 5K? My gosh.
I got so much done last night. So, and then, Joe, I find that not doing it together, because you're like, why should both parties be horrifically tired?
Right.
So we do shifts, but I do have to say, we never discussed our shift hours. It just kind of fell into place. And I find that my shift hours, and mind you, you do end up in a weird self-centeredness of thinking that yours is harder.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Where I always look at Joe, I'm like, it feels like you're really good. How come you can settle the baby and I can't settle the baby? And then he's like, you just haven't seen the times where I haven't settled the baby.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
And then he's like, I see you always have the baby settled. And I have a few tricks that I figured. But again, that was the trial and error.
Yeah, mostly the vibrating chest. Yeah.
The popping and locking.
That's hilarious. I love to see you do that in public. He's like freaking out. And you're like, hold on. I just need to pop and lock in the Starbucks. We were like, she's having a seizure.
Yeah,
you're like, no, I'm
It's just making him not a nightmare.
he likes it.
I lay him across my body. I think it's good for his colic. It kind of snaps bursts his bubble. Colic is just gas.
gassing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he farts a lot, and you want him to fart a lot.
Yeah.
And it feels good to make your baby fart.
Yeah, I
and
can
burp.
see that. It's almost like you farting. Like you enjoy a fart.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, that must feel so good for you. When he lets out a huge belch, you're like, oh, I bet you that felt so good for your tiny little body. Because it must, I find that like, I try to put myself in the mindset of like what it's like to be in a baby. Their arms are always, they have no control of their nervous system. So they're always like, they always feel like they're like falling out of a tree and they're just realizing that they're not falling out of a tree.
Yeah.
They're like this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh.
I always put it's like Vietnam flashbacks that he's having in his little bumper bed.
Yeah.
But then I find that, and Joe might disagree with me, but his sleeping seems to be, he gets to sleep from 12 to 7 in the morning. And then mine's...
That's a great 7-hour stretch. That's a lovely stretch.
And then mine's 7 to 11. And then I'm like, I don't mind I find I can get a good amount of rest and I sleep pretty well in the 4 hours. Mm-hmm. But I'm in the dead of winter. So if I'm rolling out of bed and getting my day around noon...
Then you got 4 hours of daylight. That's it.
It's depressing. Mm-hmm. And then it's also isolating because for that 7 hours, I'm just alone with the baby. And some days he's just really fussy and he won't go to sleep. And then it's supposed to be a cycle like feed, change diaper in the nighttime. Or I stop changing diaper if he goes to bed immediately. It's only if he feels fussy, then I'm like, let me change his diaper. And then during the day, I'll do it a little bit more because I just want him to go to bed. But you go into a cycle and then sometimes he won't ever go into bed that you go back into the next cycle. And then you're like, I never got a break. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I can have it where it goes on for like 6 hours straight.
That's a long time to just be emotionally engaged.
With blood curdling screams.
Yeah, someone's just screaming in your face. You're like, it's fine. Everything's fine. It's like Stockholm syndrome. Like, I love him. I really love him.
And that's why they're so cute, is so you don't drown them.
You're a little guy.
Yeah,
oh my God. He's a
cutie
dumpling.
pie.
He's a little dumpling boy.
He's cutie pies. But we're slowly figuring out, and it gets better, I think, day by day. And then since it's my first one, I don't get the luxury of being like, the crying is not life-threatening, or he's not going to die every hour of the day. That's the other thing, is I always think he's just going to die in his sleep and suffocate to the worst death.
Oh, yeah. That's so scary.
Yeah. And the other thing is I let Erica sleep with Marty, like take care of him, like kind of like a night nurse last night. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, well, I don't want him to die on her watch because I don't want her to deal with like the overwhelming feelings of being responsible for that.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
So it's been really hard for me to let him go to another person because I just don't want, if he's going to die, it's on my, I will go to trial for him and be questioned if it's murder. Yeah.
It's so dark, but it's like the things that you have to think about, where it's like sudden infant death syndrome is a thing and it happens.
It does. And then you find out you're not supposed to co-sleep. But then the only way he sleeps at night particularly is if he's on my chest. And he's still, from what I gather, he thinks he's me.
Oh my gosh, how
cute. And it takes about, I think, around the 4-month mark for him to realize he's his own individual.
Oh my gosh.
So he and I are entwined. Mm-hmm. We're enmeshed. It's a toxic relationship.
You're like, he's abusing me.
He's holding me down in my full capabilities.
He's isolating me from my friends and family, first of all. Now, what was I just going to say? I think it lost it. Sorry.
I was going into co-sleeping.
Yes.
So you keep seeing that like, he'll die if you co-sleep. And then you find out online, everybody's co-sleeping. Right. And they're like, I know it's controversial. So I'm sure that's fine if you come at me. I get it. I sleep on the couch with no sheets and I make sure like my back's against the thing. and he can't really roll. So I have it in a position that I'm aware where he's at, and I don't feel like he will or get entwined with sheets or like between the bed and a wall situation, because that's what it feels like is happening. The other speculation, and I could be wrong, but I also suspect a lot of these co-sleeping deaths are happening because there's alcohol happening.
There's a little mommy's wine. Mommy's medicine.
Mommy's medicine, which I totally get why moms
you need
drink
it.
now.
Yeah.
Because I never wanted to relapse or have a margarita so bad and smoke a million cigarettes until I had
It's stressful.
the baby. Because
Yeah.
you want a little like...
You're going to have another baby so you can get the epidural again.
Yeah. The idea of just chain smoking outside his room sounds pleasing to me.
Just taking the edge off.
Yeah, just take the edge off. Or just to have a little like, mommy's getting bad.
Mommy's naughty. Yeah, like just to be your own person again, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So those are the things. And so I worry about the co-sleeping, but he won't go to bed in his bassinet. He hates it. I call it the waking up machine. So tonight I'm putting together his crib, and I'm hoping this bed. That's the thing. It's like you're just buying all these chairs and beds to see which one he likes.
To test them out for him. You're like $200 for a maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
and maybe a month. And then he's like, I don't like this anymore.
Well, the thing about, it's like he came from the womb, right? That was his comfort space.
Yeah. And it's cozy and warm in there.
Yeah. It makes sense that he would want to sleep on your body where it's like, it's warm. It feels comfortable. Like even like the skin to skin contact is like so pleasing. And it's like, no, you go in this cold, hard, bare space.
It's just a mattress.
Yeah. You go on the futon.
It's like dating a guy that doesn't have his shit together, like sleeping on his futon, the mattress on the floor.
I touched the bassinet. I was like, you're not getting me in there.
No.
I need a pillow top.
I want some coziness. And you're like, I get it. And then they say swaddle. And then when I swaddle him, it's like I've put him in the Hannibal Lecter
straight jacket
with the little mouth claws over his mouth. Like he's like looking at me like, what have I done wrong to you, mommy? And it's tight, and he keeps trying to like bust out of it. So I'm like, he doesn't like it. Yeah. So I don't swaddle him anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's a choice.
It is a choice. And I've heard some babies don't like the swaddle, but they say it's supposed to like mimic the coziness of the womb.
Right. And just like
but
calm
maybe
them
my
right
womb
down.
was pretty loose in there.
You might have had a loose womb.
They did say I have a huge placenta.
Whoa.
Well, Joe got the soundbite of the baby coming when they pulled him out of my stomach. Where at the very end they were like, "That's a big placenta," and then scene ends.
Scene. Yeah, that's a great button.
Yeah, so I didn't realize I made a huge. I guess what they call it. I think it's like a double placenta. So if I had a vaginal birth, they would, if they didn't know about it, they would be like, "Oh, we got it," and then they'd be like, "Wait, what's the second part coming out?" And that would be my second part of my placenta.
Wow.
I don't know why it did that, but it just did. And it makes me feel like that's now my new personality.
I've had a double placenta. Starting a Facebook support group for women who have had a double placenta. I didn't even know there was more placenta.
Yeah, as a double placenta woman, this is quite triggering. Yeah.
But wait, there's more. Feels like you guys have a catchphrase. Now, what's going on with the breastfeeding? Because you were saying it's been challenging.
So that's the other thing. Like, yes, I like the idea of I wanted to breastfeed, but that's the other thing. Like, you think you make your milk right away, and it takes a while for it to come in. Mm-hmm. And they call it like, I forgot what it's called, like the golden juice or whatever, but it's called the colostrum. Your nipples will make like this, probably like a thicker milk kind of thing, but it's it doesn't come out a lot, and it's really good it's full of nutrients.
Oh, it's good. Okay.
I couldn't get him to latch really, and I'm still making milk, so I'll try to express, but even that, like, that's a lot of work. You don't get as much comes out if you did formula, so it takes like lots of hours per day to feed your baby, and you're the only one that can feed him, so your partner can't unless you're pumping. So if you're breastfeeding, that's your full-time job.
Yeah. It's
And
intense.
they did not supposed to hurt.
Oh, really? Is
No.
it just like wildly painful? Like on a scale from 1 to 10, what's the pain?
It just feels like maybe somebody's resting at the end of a cigarette on the end of your
Wow, ouchie.
just like a heat,
yeah.
but a small heat to a small area, but it can be quite intense.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
like just
the
chomping
little mouth
glass.
sucking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
oh
it's
my
quite
gosh.
a strong suck.
It's crazy
It's
how
an
we
insane
just
suck.
come out fully formed like that. And
Yeah,
just,
in the beginning, I didn't know about. I was worried about doing pacifier because I wasn't worried that it was going to hinder the breastfeeding, and they were like, "It's fine," and whatever calms him. So he's a pacifier baby. But in the beginning, I was just trying to calm him down by just putting my finger in there, and I was like, "Jesus Christ!"
oh yes, I've done that before, and like their
It's
little gummy
weird.
mouth is like,
it's so weird.
Yeah.
But you're like, that's quite a kick to it, like a
Yeah.
power that. Yeah, it's quite a powerful suck that they have.
oh, I'm so impressed by. I had seen him 2 weeks ago, and then now he's chunking up.
Yeah, well, he grew an inch and he's about a pound more, which
Wow.
is kind of insane in 6 weeks.
It is. You're
Yeah.
like, wow. I mean, like if you gain weight like that or something, like you're like, oh wow, I notice a big difference. But it's like that's a baby's natural.
Yeah, to the ratio of who they are, you're like, that's
just doubling,
insane.
just doubling in size.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then it's weird. Every time I feed him, it looks like he got fat for about 5 minutes.
Oh, milk face.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
milky
gets like
face.
they get kind of like weirdly bloated and chunky, and then they get back to normal again. Where you're like, oh, he's back, he's cute.
Oh,
he's
so cute.
super cute. But it's I think I'm I'm just getting used to it. And they call it the 4th trimester, and I think your brain probably around the 3-month mark of this. I'm hoping I will be in the swing of things. I compare it to. Did we talk about this yesterday? Where how when you figure out the train system in New York, you're like all of a sudden one day, it's not like you're like, now I know it. It's all of a sudden one day you realize, oh, I managed to
Things are
move
gonna-
around without
like,
having to look. It's like
click
second
into place.
nature to me. Or like
Yeah.
when you wait tables and you realize you've got to flow down. Like I'm hoping that's
There's-
where my brain will get that like clarity of like, I think I've got this now.
Yes. Well, I mean, that's like the light.
grasp.
The light at the end of the tunnel, right? Is like, okay, someday everything's gonna fall into place, and you won't be in this like weird postpartum no man's land of like testing out chairs.
Yeah, like-
this is my life now. It feels like you're
How
in
about
a
here?
kind of
No,
like,
yeah.
Squid Game like kind of scenario where it's like I'm just doing a weird game show.
Yes. Well, I just thought like yesterday was like, if I could have a day like yesterday, even if it was flipped where like say nighttime I go out and do spots and then
Little time
daytime
for
I'm doing
yourself,
in the
yeah.
morning. Like I don't need to leave extended period of times. I just like want 1 or 2 hours to myself that I get to do my old life with.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Just enough to be like, oh, okay, and then I can like go back in.
I can have a little bit of it all.
Because I feel like I do, have friends that have had kids, and that's one of the things. It's like just completely losing your identity as a mom because you're like, oh my gosh, like everything for the kid. I feel, even yesterday you were saying you're like, I feel kind of guilty, like I'm leaving him.
Well, yeah, I felt like I was like Paris Hilton or something like,
Yeah,
oh,
like-
ta-ta for now. I'm going on my book tour.
Mommy's a working. Yeah.
Yes.
But it's like, but the consequence of not doing that is like now then you have nothing left.
Yeah, and then it makes me look forward to being like, I can't, it's been like a few hours. I'm ready to go hang out with my
I know. It was
baby.
so cute yesterday. You were like, I miss him.
I miss my baby. Yes.
Aww.
Yeah. So I'm just waiting for that to,
Yeah.
clarify.
So how long does the fourth trimester is supposed to be, like 3 months long?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
thinking about that.
Yeah, you're like halfway there.
Yeah.
Halfway there.
Well, that's what I heard. They were like, if you can make it past the 6 week, then everything's fine. But yeah, the first few weeks, I'm like, you're just not getting any sleep.
Yeah.
You can't get on top of anything. Your place is going to look like shit.
Yeah. And you have to
New
be
York
fine
apartments
with
are cluttered.
it. You have to be fine with it. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. It smells a weird smell.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Get over it. Yeah.
Now, you got so much stuff for your baby shower. Like, what's your de-influencing in terms of like baby stuff?
Okay.
Things
So
you needed?
I realized you don't, and people might disagree. And I think Joe's mom disagrees with this.
Okay.
Is you don't need a bottle warmer.
Really? Oh my gosh, I almost bought you the bottle warmer and I'm so glad that I didn't.
Well, I didn't realize that bottle warmer also needed its own set of bottles, of course. They never make it easy. So at first I was putting bottles in there and being like, I don't feel anything. And then it's not like the baby is not taking the food. And I can't imagine, the only thing I can think of is maybe an ice cream headache.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, even if you are making the bottle with like lukewarm water, it's like, that's not going to freeze them.
No.
It's going to be fine.
Well, that's what I'm like. And then I saw a lady on TikTok saying like she doesn't warm up the bottles
Nobody
and it's
needs the
fine.
bottle warmer.
No.
Wow.
So I don't really think I need a bottle warmer.
Because you're doing also formula.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I think there's certain, like, I like the changing table, but apparently like you just need a mat to place down. A lot of people just like doing it on the floor or on their bed while they're dealing with the first few months of sleeping with him.
Yeah, especially changing table in New York City. It's like now you have an extraneous piece of furniture it's like a kitchen island. They're huge.
Yeah,
And it's like, you have storage, but like you don't need a special.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only thing that I do like, there's a baby, it's called, I forget what it's called. I just call it it's like a dog bed for babies. So
Okay.
it's like a pillow, but
Yes, I've seen it's like your little like a figure 8 pillow or something.
Yeah, it has like a ridge around it so he doesn't roll out. Like he loves that. I think I could probably go skip the bassinet and go straight to a crib because he's just never sleeping in
the wake up machine.
the wake up
I
machine.
love that you guys call
Yeah.
it that. You're like, I'm gonna put him in the wake up machine. We'll see if it works.
Swaddles I didn't need. Probably now the breast pump, even though I'm still trying.
Yeah, I like it. You're like,
But for
we
me,
gave it a try.
we
Yeah.
gave it a try. For me, I just don't need it. I like the Haka one that you can suction cup, but it's not going to pull out the most breast, but you can wear it while you're doing stuff.
Okay.
So you don't have to be
that's
like,
nice.
Yeah.
But how weird though. I can't imagine. It's like you're just sending emails while having your tit like
milking
suctioned.
it. Yeah.
You're on a Zoom call, like, hey
Yes.
guys, don't mind the noise.
I actually don't think you need a diaper bag.
Okay.
Like
Just use
whatever
any
bag that
any
you
bag.
have,
Yeah,
like a
use your
tote.
Pajal Riven Kunkin.
Exactly. Yes. Like, although I think I'd rather have a diaper bag than a regular backpack because they make them with way better compartments.
They have the pockets.
Yes.
Pockets are cool.
So yeah, I wouldn't deal with that. But I do like my baby carrier, and that's the only way that I can make him sleep. Is
The little pumpkin seat.
when I put him, it's like a front
Like
backpack.
kind of Bjorn, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I put him in that, and that's if he's really cranky and I can't get him to sleep in the afternoon, I'll put him in that, and then we'll go for an hour walk, and then he is out.
Oh, that's great. And that's got to be good for you.
Yes.
That's a great walk. I mean, that's walking with a
It's 2 birds
10-pound
with
weight.
one. Yeah. And
Can he suffocate in that or he's fine?
I think he's fine.
Yeah. You're like, well, we'll see. We'll let you know.
We'll see. Yeah. I just make sure he turns his head. I have had an incident where I went too long. I think I hit a 90-minute mark and he was freaking out where he was slowly popping out of it. And so bad that there was a couple in a car that stopped and asked if they could help me. And then I was like, what are you going to do? Am I going to hop in the car with you?
Yeah, or like, here, you take him. I love that. People like to get involved. They like to get involved with when they see a baby. You know, they want to say, oh, "Could we make this about us?"
I don't know, but it's like, what exactly? Like, I guess the gesture's nice, but even if you didn't do the gesture, it never popped my mind being like, those random strangers were quite rude to my baby. Acknowledge our existence out here.
My baby's trying to inch his way out of the carrier, and no one offered to help. I would be like, I need to run some errands if you don't mind. Can we go to Costco?
I know. Well, that's what I'm like. Isn't that how you end up like, why did you get in the car with strangers? And you're like, I don't know.
I didn't want to be
nice.
rude.
They were nice.
Yeah, yeah.
And I didn't feel like making them feel bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a harrowing part. But yeah, I think the bottle warmer. Also, I think with like diaper rash stuff, it's just Vaseline that works pretty
right
to put on his butthole.
It's the same stuff. Isn't it the same stuff as like the hemorrhoid?
Yeah.
Like Preparation H. It's just like a little, I don't know what the name of the cortisol cream, right?
Oh, another thing that's kind of a waste is the baby wipe warmer.
Okay.
And then I went away for a weekend and forgot to turn it off, so it just mildewed everything in there.
Ugh.
Yeah, so I didn't know that was a thing, and I don't really think he appreciates 30 seconds of warm wet wipe.
Yeah, it's like, it's winter. It's going to be cold.
Yeah.
He's going to be exposed
He's
to
already
cold.
crying anyway, so I'm not going to tell. I can't tell if he's any more inconvenienced.
I didn't even know they had a thing like that. That's kind of funny. It's like we're forcing it down the baby's throat. It's like, don't let his tush be cold for one moment.
Yes, I think there's a lot of, I would consider it big baby.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff because they're preying on the fact. It's the same thing of like preying on women, like society telling us that like if we are ugly, then that's our worth and you have no worth. But like it's like that if you let your baby's tush get cold for a moment, then you're a bad parent and you've
failed.
They're preying on people who are already going to do a good job of being parents by the fact that they're just paying attention to stuff.
Well, I also feel like things get jacked up in price as soon as you put baby in the title.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Where like I think a lot of like diaper rash stuff is just Vaseline. Mm-hmm. And then because you can just put diaper.
Yeah.
And then they jack it to like $6.
You know, it's like sensitive skin, like Johnson's & Johnson's No Tears.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I think to change the baby mat, I got a cloth one, and now I'm realizing I probably should have there's one that's really kind of expensive, but if you're changing diapers on it all the time, so cost per wear, it probably might be worth it. It's around $100, and it's like this kind of rubbery baby changing mat.
Yep, I've seen that one.
That's cushy, and they said just put a little blanket around
it's like
it.
silicone or something.
Yeah,
right?
so you can wipe it. So he's just kind of peed on in the mattress. So it's not like I'm going to resell that. It's just pee. Yeah.
Hey, enjoy.
But I find baby pee and baby poo to not be so. It's not like grown man poo where there's emotions in there.
No, it's not like that. Yeah,
they're not angry.
It's not like the poo you see on the street where you're like something went badly wrong.
It's not like that guy hates his kids. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I hope that things continue to evolve. And
yes.
I'm sure they will, and we'll be right here with you.
Thank you.
On that lady journey. So everyone, please like and subscribe. Make sure you join our Patreon to support Sarah and her journey as a mother. And if we have any moms out there, please comment and let us know your baby de-influencing.
Yeah. Or if you're co-sleeping, let me know to feel better.
Yes. Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
No, that's it.
I feel like that's it. I'm sorry.
What do you want from us?
Yeah. Yeah. One of us is a mom now, and the other one is slowly but surely making her way towards medication. Bye, guys.
Yeah, lady journey.